Hello, Bulldog artists. I miss you all. This is Mrs. Armstrong. Today is Earth Day, and so the lesson I have this week for both primary and secondary is going to be the same because it's a lot of fun, and I thought little kids and big kids alike would have a great time doing this. So I kind of have my station all set up here. You'll need a piece of tin foil, or you could even use like a placemat or a plate or a paper plate, whatever you can find. Something that you probably don't mind if it gets messy. You'll need some white paper. I cut 9" by 9" squares because that's what size of bowl I'm going to be tracing to make my art today, but you could use any size of paper that you can find. I have some tape to secure the edges of my foil from sliding around. I thought that that would be helpful so that once I put the shaving cream on, my foil is not going to be moving all over on me. You'll also need a tracing tool. I'm going to use a Sharpie, but you could certainly use a pencil or a marker or crayon for tracing a circle shape to make your earth. You'll need some shaving cream. I just grabbed this at Rite Aid. It was like $1.50, so ask Dad or Grandpa for permission, or Mom if you're taking shaving cream from them, but just any kind of shaving cream. I am using food coloring today. I chose green and blue to make my earth, obviously, but if you don't have food coloring, I've done this before with watercolors and tempera paint. So any of those mediums should work fine, and you'll put the drops on the same way that I'm going to apply them. I also have handy a plastic knife for spreading. You could use a spoon or whatever you can find, a toothpick, and some Q-tips for swirling to make the marble painting, and maybe a napkin or a paper towel in case things get really messy. I'm hoping they don't get too messy, but let's have some fun. So I'm going to take my white square and my circle form. I'm just using a glass circle dish, so use whatever you can find. I'm going to use a Sharpie here to trace around. That way when my shaving cream marble painting is done, I can just cut it out. I don't have to trace then. I'm just going to get it pre-traced, and then I can just cut it out afterwards. You could do some earths in some variety of different sizes depending on what types of circle shapes you can find in your house. Alright, I'm going to set the paper aside, and on my tin foil surface here, I'm going to get my shaving cream ready. So I kind of just kind of spray it around. Oh, I got myself. Just a little layer here. That's what I got the towel for. Clean myself off. Alright, and then I'm going to use my plastic knife to kind of smooth a surface here. And it doesn't have to be thick. Honestly, like, it can be really thin. I probably sprayed a little bit too much. So I'm going to put some of this off to the side, and I can use it for my second one. You can get 2 prints probably off of one surface, but 3 not so much. Experiment with it and see what you can come up with. But once you print, you'll get like your first one will be your best one, I usually say, with the shaving cream marble printing, and then after that you can keep printing on the same surface, but it probably won't turn out as neat like a real marble paint. It'll be more blurry. So I'm going to kind of just smear myself a nice surface. You want this surface to be the size of your paper. So whatever size paper you chose, like I did a 9" by 9", I want to make sure that the shaving cream that I'm spreading here, like I'm spreading it kind of like I'd put frosting on a cake, honestly. But you want to make sure that this area is as big as your paper that you plan to print on to make your earth today. Okay, and I can even like take my paper and hold it up, make sure that it's good. Looks great. I'm going to take the food coloring. Again, you could use water paint for this. If you're going to use water paint or tempera paint, you basically just want to put drops of paint on the shaving cream surface, just like I'm going to do. But feel free to play around with some different mediums if you don't have food coloring on hand. So I'm going to put the blue drops in. I guess I should probably do more blue than green since our planet is mostly water. I'm just going to have some fun here. You can always add more color too, so I'm just going to start with some drops here. And then I'm going to do some green drops. kind of intermixed. You can put 2 drops on top of each other to make a bigger drop. And if I'm using watercolor or tempera paint to do this, I would just kind of use a paintbrush and kind of just let it dot onto the surface. I've had good results using those too. All right, so from here, you're going to want to use a stirring tool. So I'm going to use, I'll try both. I'll try the Q-tip and the toothpick here. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of start swirling and blending, doing some loop-de-de-loops. You can do any kind of lines you want to kind of smear that green and blue color into the white space. I think I'm going to try the Q-tip. The toothpick looks a little like it's making a more thin line. Oh yeah, I like the Q-tip better. You could use a straw for this. You could use the end of a silverware handle, whatever you can find. I think this is going to be really nice though. I really like this so far. Feel free to, you know, get as creative as you want. Obviously, you can put some more food coloring in it if you decide you need some more, less white. I kind of like the incorporation of white because it looks like a photograph from maybe a telescope or something like that where we can see clouds mixed into our earth. Oh yeah, this is looking really fun. Okay, I'm satisfied with this. I seem to have more green than blue, but that's okay. I'm going to set my stick down out of the way. Sit on my paper towel. I'm going to take my paper. I'm going to use the side I traced on, and I'm going to just lay it on gently here on the surface, and I'm going to press just gently. You don't want to smash it to the foil. You just kind of want to gently press it on. And our hope here is that the food coloring will transfer onto our paper and we'll have an awesome earth. So I'm going to take it off this way so you guys can see. Okay, and I do see that it worked great. So what I want to do here, this is awesome. I can definitely make another print. I can see my shaving cream is still looking really nice. So what you can do here is just use your tool and scrape this off, the excess. Now this will take a little while to dry, so don't cut it out right away. I mean, it's going to be kind of soggy. And once it dries, the shaving cream will kind of dissolve anyway. But I like to kind of reveal my creation here, so I'm going to scrape some off so I can kind of see what I have. It's beautiful. So once this dries, I'll set it somewhere safe, and then once it dries, I can wipe it off with a tissue. Any of the dissolved shaving cream will dry up and kind of flake off, and then I'll cut out my earth. And I'll post some pictures of some examples of how my finished one turns out. I might do some smaller ones here with what I have left over because this just looks really cool. All right, artists. Well, I hope you get to enjoy your Earth Day today and tomorrow and every day, because every day should be Earth Day. But enjoy the lesson, and you can share a photograph of your creation with me in the Google Remote Classroom, or you can email it to me. Have a great day. We'll see you soon.